This video is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc. with free weekly content and free shipping on orders over $150. You can save 5% site-wide by using the promo code MTGMudsta. If you're looking for a direct way to help the channel, please consider joining my Patreon and becoming a member of the generic Goblin Gang. Hey gang, and welcome back. Today's game has Marie, Max, Felix, and Seb all joining us again with some pretty spicy decks. Marie is playing her Mazzy deck, keeping Winds of Wrath, Umbra Mystic, Iris God of Victory, Prismatic Vista, Plains, Mountain, and Enchantress's Presence. Max is still rocking that Faldorn deck, keeping Exotic Orchard, Rootbound Crag, Mountain, Forest, Harmonize, Return to Nature, and Impact Tremors. Felix has got his partner's deck with Wernog and Bjorna, keeping an Orzhov Signet, Reckless Fireweaver, Anointed Procession, Command Tower, Great Furnace, and 2 islands. Last but not least, Seb is playing Kadena, keeping a Void Mage Apprentice, Airy Bowmasters, 2 Swamps, a Forest, Thousand Winds, and Farseek. Marie wins the die roll and starts us off. She draws and plays a Bountiful Promenade. Max just plays a Forest. Felix plays a Polluted Delta and cracks it, losing 1 to find a tapped Godless Shrine. Seb just plays a Forest. Marie draws and plays a Mountain. Max has a Rootbound Crag, which allows him to pay 2 to cast Impact Tremors. Felix plays a Command Tower and casts an Orzhov Signet. Seb draws and plays a Swamp. He casts a Farseek to go and find Breeding Pool and passes. Marie's got a Plains for turn and plays out an Enchantress's Presence, passing. Max plays an Exotic Orchard. He then casts Faldorn, dealing 1 to everyone from the Impact Tremors. Felix draws and plays an island. He casts Bjorna, followed by Wernog. Everyone takes 1 rather than make a clue token with Wernog's trigger, and Felix ends up with only a single clue token. He passes after that. Seb draws and plays a Swamp. He then casts Kadena and follows it up with a free Morph card, drawing a card as it enters. He passes after that. Marie plays a Plains and casts Iris God of Victory, drawing a card from Enchantress's Presence. Max plays Layla the Blade Reforged and moves to combat. He swings Layla at Felix, exiling a mountain off the top. Felix declares no blocks and takes a 3, and after that, Max plays the Land from Exile, making a Wolf token. Felix draws and plays a Great Furnace. He then plays Reckless Fireweaver and passes. Seb's got an island for turn, and then casts Felwar Stone. He casts his free Morph, drawing a card, and moves to combat. This has Felix sacrificing a clue token to Bjorna to goad Kadena, and Seb swings her at Marie and a Morph token at Felix. Before blocks, Felix casts Ghostly Flicker to exile Wernog and the Orzhov Signet, and they both re-enter. Everyone chooses the 1 life from Wernog twice, both as he enters and leaves, and then takes an additional 3 from the Orzhov Signet and clue tokens coming in thanks to the Reckless Fireweaver. Felix then blocks the Morph with his Reckless Fireweaver, and Marie takes 3. After that, Seb passes. Marie's got a Prismatic Vista, cracking it and losing 1 for a Forest. She then casts Winds of Wrath to wipe the board. And Seb responds with flipping Void Mage Apprentice and counters it. With nothing else, Marie passes. Max draws for turn and swings Layla at Felix, exiling a Forest off the top. Felix takes the hit, and in his second main phase, Max then plays the Forest to make a Wolf token. He then casts You Find Some Prisoners and exiles the top 3 cards off of Felix's deck, and chooses the Talisman of Conviction. He casts the Talisman, making a Wolf token and passing. Felix draws and plays an island. He cracks a clue token to draw a card, and then does it again. He follows up with a Vanquish the Horde to wipe the board, and with Wernog leaving, Seb and Marie take the 1, while Max makes a clue token, and Felix gets 2 clue tokens as a result. Seb draws and replays Kadena. He then casts the morph for free, drawing a card and passing. Marie draws and plays an overgrown farmland. She then pays for a Sterling Grove, drawing a card, and then a Jukai Naturalist, drawing again. She passes, and during her end step, Max sacrifices his clue token to draw a card. In his main phase, Max casts a Utopia Sprawl onto a forest. He then plays Llanowar Elves and recasts Faldorn. Felix draws and plays a Blood Crypt, paying 2 life so it comes in untapped. He then recasts Wernog, which has everyone making a clue token, and Felix gets to make a bunch. He passes after that. Seb plays Trails of Mystery in his main phase, and Marie responds with it on the stack by cracking her clue token. Seb then plays a free morph for turn, and searches for an island off the Trails of Mystery trigger, which he then plays for turn. He passes after that. Marie draws and plays Mazzy. She plays out a Fury Calm Snarl, revealing a Plains from hand, and then casts Danitha Capuchin. After that, she passes, and during her end step, Felix casts Disorder in the Court, exiling Faldorn until Max's end of turn. Max draws and plays a forest. He casts Harmonize, drawing 3, and then casts Sensei's Divining Top, and then a Scroll Rack. Going to his end step, Faldorn returns and Max passes. Felix draws and plays Seed of the Synod. He then cracks a clue token to draw a card, and follows up with Brago, King Eternal. He passes once it resolves. Seb's got an island for turn, and plays a morph, drawing a card, and getting a Trial of Mystery trigger. He then swings Kadena at Max, who takes the hit. After combat, Seb flips up a Brine Elemental to make each opponent skip their untap steps, and passes turn. Marie doesn't untap, but does draw. She plays a Mountain, and then casts Shiny Impetus on Danitha, drawing a card. Going to combat, she swings Iris at Max and Danitha at Seb. They both take their hits, and Marie gains 6 and makes a treasure token. After that, she passes turn. Maxim skips his untap and draws. He casts Summer Bloom to play a forest and a mountain. He then activates Scroll Rack to find a 3rd land and plays a Carplusian Forest. With nothing else, he passes. Just as everyone else has, Felix skips his untap as draws for turn. He plays a Plains and goes to combat. He swings Brago at Marie, and before damage, she uses Path to Exile to get rid of it. Seb gets to untap and draws and plays a forest. He plays a Rampant Growth to go and find an island, and with nothing else, passes. Marie draws and plays a Plains. She casts a Thought Vessel, and then Halvar. She follows up with an Umbra Mystic, and after some debate, it resolves. Marie then moves to combat, swinging the Jukai Naturalist at Felix, Iris and Mazzy at Seb, and Danitha at Max. Marie makes a treasure, with Seb taking 10, Max taking 12, and Felix taking 2. Marie gains 14 life from all of this as well, and passes, and during her end step, Max cracks the clue token. Max draws and then taps the top to draw again. He plays Commune with Lava, putting 5 into the X, and Seb responds by destroying Impact Tremors using a Golgari Charm. Max then plays a Wild Growth onto the Carplusian Forest, and then plays Enter the Unknown on Faldorn, revealing a Terramorphic Expanse, which he puts to hand. He then plays the Terramorphic and recasts the top, and then spins it. Once he's done looking at his top 3, he sacrifices the Terramorphic to shuffle up, and then activates Scroll Rack. Max then plays a mountain as his second land for turn, and passes. Felix draws and plays Sacred Foundry, taking 2. He casts an Anointed Procession, and follows that up once it resolves with Sevinne's Reclamation and targets his Reckless Fireweaver. With that, Felix passes, and during his end step, Seb flashes in Teferi, Mage of Zhalfir. Felix responds by casting Ephemerate on Wernog. This has Max responding by casting Nature's Claim on the Anointed Procession. Everyone then declines a clue, but take a total of 4 from Wernog and the Reckless Fireweaver triggers. Seb draws and plays a Swamp. He plays a Morph for free and draws a card, and follows it up with a Scroll of Fate, tapping it to manifest a card from his hand and draw again from Kadena. Marie draws and plays a Plains. She cracks the Sterling Grove for Eidolon of Countless Battles, and then cracks another clue to draw it. Marie then follows up with Light Paws, and bestows the Eidolon onto Mazzy. She draws a card from the presence, and then resolves the Light Paw trigger, and goes to get Emblem of the Warmind. Going to combat, she swings Mazzy at Max, Danitha at Felix, and the rest at Seb. Seb makes a bunch of double blocks, and then flips Skin Thinner, destroying the Umbra Mystic. Marie gets to make a treasure token, while both Max and Felix die, while Seb drops dangerously low to 1. Having taken 2 players out, Marie feels good and passes turn. Seb draws and plays an island. He manifests a card from his hand to draw with Kadena, and then plays out a Vizier of the Menagerie. With Teferi still up, Seb passes turn. Marie draws and plays Sticky Fingers on Iris, and then searches up an Ethereal Armor with Light Paws. Going to combat, she swings at Seb, and he responds by flipping up 1000 Winds to bounce all tapped creatures. Seb gives the 1000 Winds the +2/+2 trigger from the Trial of Mystery, and uses it and the Brine Elemental to block Danitha. Marie kills the 1000 Winds and jumps up to 57 life, but sadly Seb still lives. In her post-combat main phase, she plays an Academy Rector, and then follows up with a Blasphemous Act. As the Rector dies, she exiles it to go and find Sithis. Marie then recasts Light Paws and Iris. With nothing else, she passes. Seb draws and plays a Swamp. He plays a Ghastly Conscript to manifest all the creature cards in his graveyard and get a ton of basics off the Trail of Mystery as they come in. He also manifests a card from the Scroll of Fate, and then moves to discard and passes. Marie plays a Hall of Heliod's Generosity. She then activates it to put Emblem of the Warmind on top, and then plays Spirit Mantle onto Light Paws. Seb responds to this by flipping up Kadena's Silencer to counter her draws from Sithis and the Enchantress's Presence, and then flips up the Void Mage Apprentice to counter the Spirit Mantle. Marie then recasts Mazzy again, and follows up with a Starfield Mystic, passing. Seb draws and manifests a card to the Scroll of Fate, and then slams out a Craterhoof Behemoth. He's got a huge board, and they all suddenly get massive, and Seb is able to attack and take the game. Game review time. Honestly, considering how low Seb was, I thought this game Marie had in the bag. Her commander generates trample, so even with the 2/2s and having a bunch of them, Seb was going to be in trouble had she been able to swing one big creature at him. I guess it goes to show how powerful something like Ghastly Conscription can be in the right deck. I think Max's Faldorn deck was doing a great job early on, and Impact Tremors really helps make those wolf tokens do a lot if he doesn't have haste. He was pinging the table for quite a bit of damage, just like Felix was. I think Felix and Max contributed the most to the damage to this game, as Wernog coming in forced people to choose between a clue which would have pinged them from the Reckless Fireweaver, or lose some life, and that's a tough choice to have to make. As much as I love Kadena, I wish that he didn't run cards like Brine Elemental. Those are just kind of not fun for me, but I understand why other people would want to run them. This video wouldn't be possible without the help from my sponsors, Cool Stuff Inc., Multizone, Original Magic Art, and Alter Sleeves. But it definitely wouldn't be possible without the help from you, the viewers, and my patrons. So I just want to say thank you for watching, and to remember, friends are just opponents you haven't eliminated yet.